Yo, what's up YouTube? Tim Conley here, and I want to talk about your pricing. Let's go into the 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 top reasons why your price is way too low. And I don't even know what your price is. I don't know you. We've not talked, but I'm pretty sure your price is too low, or at least you're leaving a significant amount of money left on the table because you're doing one or more of these 5 things. So, number 5, you don't know what big is. Your price is set because you don't know what a big account looks like. So I get this question a lot about how to price or what they're doing, and I always ask a question back. How big is your biggest account? And then they'll tell me what it is, and they'll tell me what they deem to be large. And the number one thing I have everyone do, even if you are fairly experienced, no matter what your situation is, if I think your price is too low, what I'm going to tell you to do is go do some market research and find out what the biggest accounts are in your chosen field. So let's say you do Facebook advertising. Well, what's a large account? What do you know verifiably, objectively is an actual large account? Go find out what that is. You might not serve the same kind of clients, probably don't serve the same kind of clients as the ones who are very large accounts. And we're talking people who spend millions of dollars a year in Facebook advertising. So that would be a large account by any agency's measure. But what I see a lot of times is these smaller agencies telling me a large account is like $3,000 a month. And that's nowhere close to millions of dollars per year. The first thing we've got to do is get objective about what a big account is. So we know exactly on the spectrum of the service that we offer what people are willing to pay. If we're only experiencing the very low end of the market, let's say $10,000 a month and lower, and we're only experiencing that space, then our brain is going to have a hard time setting a price that's significantly higher. Let's say $50,000 a month. If you're charging $5,000 a month, it's going to be very difficult for you to accept, not a prospect, but you to accept $50,000 as an objectively good price, good value for the service being offered. All right, let's jump into number 4. You're targeting the wrong prospects. This is something that I get when anyone comes to me and they tell me, hey, these are my big accounts and it's really low. And I say, well, you should be charging significantly more for the value that you're bringing to the table. And they tell me, well, my prospects won't pay that. Well, they probably haven't asked for a higher amount, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They did actually ask the client, and the client's like, nope, but I'll pay you this lower amount, and they take the lower amount. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and that's truly the case. That means you're targeting the wrong people in your market. So let's say you do, we'll stick with Facebook advertising. Let's say you do Facebook advertising, but you do this for plumbers. And you're charging, say, $2,000 a month for the management fee to some small plumbers. But what about the larger plumbers? What about the ones who do an entire city that have 20, 30 trucks that have to be booked every single day so the company makes money? What about that company? How much are they willing to spend? Most likely a lot more than $2,000. Probably in the spectrum of $20,000 a month if you're able to deliver full value to them. They might even pay higher than that. Well then, what about higher? What about national plumbing companies? What about franchises? Going to the franchise itself and helping it generate leads for all the franchisees around the nation. How much would they be willing to spend? Or would they at least set you up with their master franchise, what are they called? Franchisees, master franchisees that then license out to other people? Well, they might set you up with them. Well, how much would those people pay? Well, probably a significant sum because they are targeting a far greater area than a single city. So if you look at who you're actually targeting and you see, well, I do serve plumbers, well, pick which level. Do you stay at the bottom and struggle with your pricing and trying to deliver a great service to them? Or do you take your same skill set, apply it to a bigger company where there's far more value, where those people, when you apply your skill set to their business, they get a far greater return than the amount of money that they're spending? If you do that, your pricing can easily go up. Okay, let's jump into number 3. Copying your peers and competitors. Most people, and I don't care what industry, this happens a lot. Most people pick their price this way. They look at a few identifiable competitors or peers, and they find out what are they charging. Oh, they charge, this company charges $10,000 a month, and this company charges $3,000 a month. I'll pick somewhere in the middle and go with $5,500 a month. That's how they pick their price. Or they had a friend, a peer, competitor, and they said, well, you should charge this much. And this could be from an association. You go to an industry association, they say, well, you should be charging this much. This is the average. And that's how people pick their price. That's a terrible way of picking a price. It has absolutely nothing to do with the value that you bring to a client. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything other than being right in the middle of the pack, or better, in the middle of the herd. You're right in the middle of this herd, and your pricing isn't at a point where it really reflects the value that you bring to a client. So if you pick the average and your service is below average, guess what? You're going to lose a lot of clients because the value just isn't there. If you are very good at what you do and your price is low, well, you're just leaving a lot of money on the table, and you might even be losing potential customers because they look at you and they say, well, you're charging $3,000 a month, but everyone that we've worked with in the past charges $30,000 a month. You obviously don't know what you're doing. If you did, your price would be far higher. You will not get those appointments. You will not get that business if you don't understand the value that you bring to the table. Number 2, you're scared to lose the sale. I have worked with a lot of people who have discounted their price before the prospect ever heard it. How crazy is that? You didn't even give them a chance to say no to the price. You just assumed that whatever amount you were going to charge was too much, so you lowered your price. That's ridiculous. Be willing to hear no. If you're not willing to hear no, your business is in trouble. You're never going to talk to enough prospects for you to be able to make a very good living. Don't assume that your prospect is unwilling to pay until you've asked them to pay. Seems logical, but here's the reason why we do it. We're scared. We don't have enough deal flow coming in to be able to pick and choose our clients. If you had more leads, I mean good quality leads, not like just a whole bunch of email opt-ins, but you literally had a dozen or more per day of qualified leads contacting you and saying, I want to work with you, let's talk, you would not be discounting because you wouldn't be afraid. It's like, well, if this one says no, well, the next one's probably going to say yes. And I can't even talk to everybody in time. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to choose the best potential ones that I possibly can. So if you're in a scarcity mindset, you really need to get more deals. You need to put more marketing into play. You need to have more people contacting you and saying, I want to work with you. You do that, it will eliminate most of your scarcity mindset. Not all of it, but it will eliminate most of your scarcity mindset, which will allow you to start charging for the value you actually bring to your clients. That's fantastic, isn't it? Okay, the very number one reason, and it actually runs through all the reasons why our pricing is way too low, and that is your self-worth is too low. There's this saying that your net worth is your network, or something like that. Your network is your net worth. But your net worth really is your self-worth. If you have a high self-worth, you're not going to discount before the prospect has a chance to tell you no. You're not going to copy your peers and your competitors. You're not going to target the wrong prospects. You're not going to think a small deal is actually a big deal. If you have a high self-worth, you will charge according to the value that you actually bring a client. And I've seen this over and over again. Most people don't believe it. Most people just really don't want to admit it, that they have self-worth issues. I did. When I got started, I thought my pricing was wrong because I just didn't know how to price. I didn't know how to pick my market. I thought it was all those other reasons. And then one day I realized when I was about to discount before the prospect ever had a chance to hear my price, I realized I was doing it because I was afraid. I was afraid to get rejected. I was scared that I wouldn't make the money, and I needed the money to be able to take care of my family. So I was like, it's me. It's me. My price is me. And then I started talking to lots of other entrepreneurs and asking, well, how'd you pick your price? Well, the price was almost completely set based upon their own self-worth. Let me jump into what's the right price. You're charging value that is commensurate with what the results you give them. So I like to shoot for a 10x return. So somebody gives me $50,000, I want their business to get at least a value of $500,000 out of the work that they do with me. That's what I shoot for. Some types of businesses, some industries, a good value might be a 4x return or a 6x return, or maybe higher. So if you suspect your price is way too low, well, what reason is it? Is it because you don't know what a big deal is? Is it because you are targeting the wrong prospects? Is it because you just picked your price based upon your competitors and peers and what they were charging? Is it because you're scared to lose a sale? Is it because you don't believe in yourself? You don't believe you are worthy of getting paid a significant amount of money for the value that you bring? If that's the case, if it's the case of any one of those things, fix it. And best way to fix this, best way to fix all of this, especially like when I said with number 2, is more deal flow. Get better at marketing. Get better at selling. Get comfortable hearing no. Get comfortable asking questions of your prospects. And a big key one is bring up money early and often. If you are scared about having that money conversation with your prospects, they're going to notice, and they're going to see that you're awkward around this price, which will tell them, it signals to them that whatever price that you're about to say is probably too high for you. Not for the prospect. It might be far too low for the prospect. But for you, the price is too high because you're not comfortable with saying your price. So always bring up the money topic early and often in all conversations with prospects. And here's a little trick. I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with this little trick. And it changed my way of being able to get more and more money, being able to ask for more money because I knew the value I was bringing. I would go into my bathroom, I would look in the mirror, and I would practice saying the price. I would say, back in the day when I was first getting started, oh, the price is $5,000. And then I moved it to, my price is $10,000. Nowadays, I say my price is $50,000, or $100,000. I'm getting very comfortable with saying a very high price for the amount of labor that I do, because there's no connection between the amount of labor I do and the results that I get my clients. The connection is I have a certain secret sauce that I'm selling that gets my clients a huge, huge return. That is why they're willing to easily accept a $50,000 price tag for some conversations with me, or a $100,000 price tag, or even higher for the work that I do for them. Get comfortable saying the price long before a prospect ever hears it. I really hope this helped you. I really hope this helps you change the way you look at your price, the way you look at yourself, and be able to get the value you truly deserve for being good at your job. Feel free to comment below, subscribe, like, share, do it all. Do all the socials, right? Make sure that this video gets out to everyone that you know who needs to raise their price. Talk to you later.